They're still doing it. They're still doing gain-of-function research on coronaviruses. This is on the Daily Mail exclusive. This is playing with fire. It could spark a lab-generated pandemic. Experts slam Boston lab, where scientists have created a new deadly COVID strain with an 80% kill rate. Boston University scientists were today condemned for playing with fire after it emerged that they had created a lethal new COVID strain in a laboratory. What? So again, this whole idea that somehow if you're a scientist, you somehow should be at the top of our society, and you're a perfect person, and you're not scientists are fucking maniacs. How many scientists are sitting around building nuclear weapons right now? How many scientists are torturing beagles by infecting them with fleas and putting their head in a box in the middle of a desert? How many? That's what scientists do. Scientists are freaking maniacs. Just like everybody else.
It's also a thing of, all this profit motive stuff. They don't, like a lot of these breakthroughs and stuff, they don't really get money on that. They get money on this kind of stuff that you don't want, the stuff that nobody wants them to do. So everything's incentivized to do more of this kind of like.
Well, we funded gain-of-function research. When I say we, I mean Dr. Fauci did it illegally. He wasn't.
I sent him a few bucks myself.
He wasn't supposed to. Barack Obama had paused us funding gain-of-function research, and they got it. They did it through Echo Alliance, so they kind of went around the regulation. They got it done, and then it looks like, according to Jeffrey Sachs, that they created. It looks like that the COVID-19 virus came from a U.S. biolab,
not even a Chinese biolab.
But
through
the same thing. So dailymail.com revealed the team had made a hybrid. So they're still doing this. They're still trying to make this virus worse. Dailymail.com revealed the team had made a hybrid virus combining Omicron and the original Wuhan strain.
How about you get the vaccine even extra more good before you start perfecting the virus more?
And it killed 80% of the mice in the study. Well, do you want American manufacturing jobs to come back from China or not? Because that's how we could do it. So here's the Boston lab makes new deadly COVID strain. 1, scientists remove spike from Omicron. They then attach it to the original Wuhan. Then they put it in mice. And then the virus killed 80% of those mice.
Did they need to make this a whole chart with illustrations to get this concept of? Look at the scientists like about to knuckle pound each other in the illustration.
This is called gain of function, right? I'm not a doctor, but it sounds like they artificially caused a deadly virus to be more deadly. That's gain of function. If that's not gain of function, when does the gain of function label kick in? When the virus can legally marry?
Once it has personhood.
The revelation exposes how dangerous virus manipulation research continues to go on, even in the United States, despite fears similar practices may have started the pandemic. Professor Shmuel Shapira, a leading scientist in the Israeli government, said this should be totally forbidden. It's playing with fire. Gain-of-function research, when viruses are purposely manipulated to be more infectious or deadly, is thought to be at the center of COVID's origin. Remember if you said that before, they would kick you off Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube if you said that for like a year.
It would say after that period of origin, it would say by horrible racists. So that's
and you would call a racist if you said that. A Chinese laboratory located just miles from the first cluster of cases carried out similar research on bat coronaviruses, but the practice has been largely restricted in the U.S. since 2017.
I don't like that. It's not banned.
Largely restricted.
Hey, just make it a little more deadly.
Yeah. In the new research, which has not been peer-reviewed, a team of researchers from Boston and Florida extracted Omicron spike protein, the unique structure that binds to and invades human cells. It has always been present in the virus, but has become more evolved over time. Omicron has dozens of mutations on its spike protein that made it so infectious. Should I be more worried about Twitter misinformation than this? Because I feel kind of worried about this.
Yeah, this
seems worse than Twitter misinformation. That these guys are fucking doing this in the lab. Professor David Livermore, a professor of microbiology at the UK's University of East Anglia, told dailymail.com, given the strong likelihood that the COVID pandemic originated from the escape of a lab-manipulated coronavirus in Wuhan, these experiments seem profoundly unwise.
Whoa, don't say anything you can't take back, dude.
Profoundly. The research involves tinkering with viruses to make them more lethal or infectious, with the hopes of getting ahead of a future outbreak. Can you show me an example of when you ever did that? Can you show me an example of when you invented a virus in the lab that was way shittier than the one that occurred in nature, and then you were able to help us because it was going to happen anyway? Is there ever an example of this? They've never pointed to one, so I'm going to guess that's never happened.
In nature, they don't. That's what's so unusual, is to have extra tricks on its shell, because they don't usually evolve that. They're not evolving to be more deadly. They're evolving to be more.
But them doing, I know, but
Yeah.
when the virus naturally evolves,
Yes,
like
it's trying to become less deadly.
it becomes
to spread.
less deadly, so it can spread more.
Right.
Which is exactly what happened with the COVID virus. It
So-
became less deadly and more infectious.
So what are you getting ahead of?
So what do you get? So
Yeah.
they're just fucking around. These scientists get off on this and they can't help
I'd say
themselves.
that's the best case scenario. Is that what you just said is probably the best
The
case
best
scenario.
case scenario
The worst case, I don't even want
is
to
that
think.
there's something nefarious going
Yeah.
on there.
Now,
Mhm.
I know that could never be, but
Maybe some CIA type level stuff.
I mean, I would never think that our intelligence community would,
So they're trying to. So this thing, I would like if someone in our audience is a scientist and you know of this have ever happening, please send me a link of them ever creating a more infectious and deadly virus that they then got out ahead of. The University of Boston refuted the experiments are gain of function, just like Dr. Fauci lied that what was happening in Wuhan was gain of function. So they're lying. The University of Boston is lying when they say that the experiments aren't gain of function, adding that the research was reviewed and approved by the Institutional Biosafety Committee and the Boston Public Health Commission. I don't give a shit who approved this. By the way, do you give a shit who approved this, Kurt? I don't care.
And I also am gonna probably make a bet that it was not approved.
I'm going to bet that they're lying. Yeah.
I'm gonna raise you.
A spokesperson said this research mirrors and reinforces the findings of other similar research performed by other organizations. Ultimately, this research will provide a public benefit by leading to better targeted therapeutic interventions to help fight against future pandemic. Hey, you know what? Do me a favor. Don't do me any fucking favors. All right? Quit trying to help me out with the coronavirus. Stop it. Stop doing us favors.
Well, they're trying to help out with therapeutic interventions, which is, doesn't really concern you. You just take those interventions.
You just take them.
Yeah.
The scientists admit the hybrid virus is likely to be as deadly unlikely to be as deadly in humans as it was in mice. That's because there was a specific breed of lab mice used are very susceptible to severe COVID disease. Mice and humans also have very different immune responses to the virus. Wait, are they overhyping COVID for mice now? Are any of the mice refusing to wear a mask?
The mice like, I don't believe in the scam.
This is from Boston WHDH, says Boston University refutes misleading claim that its lab is creating a deadly COVID strain. No, it just has an 80% kill rate with the mice you tested it on. It's misleading. Top NIH director admits Boston lab that created new COVID strain did not clear research with agency and only learned of details on dailymail.com. I thought they did. They said that they did clear, Kurt.
They didn't say it was the NIA.
Didn't say it was the NIH.
They said it was a local Boston.
Yeah. Okay.
My cousin Vinny's
it was the most corruptible.
bioethics.
Yeah, it was called Corruption is Us. On federal lab safety oversight rules, quote, it's a murky world. But in our view, because the funding was not supporting the work that was supported in this paper, that it wasn't necessary to report it to the NIH.
Oh, that's good. That
these people are criminals.
the oversight is murky.
And they're mad scientist maniacs.
Who's to say what gain of function research is?
Boston University insisted it was not technically gain of function research because its chimeric virus only killed 80% of the mice and not 100% of the mice.
Is that really what they said?
That's according to our friend here, Kinney. By this logic, no virologist ever does gain of function research because it's not gain of function until they know the results. That's one hell of a loophole.
Yeah, when does it kick in?
Right, exactly. That's your question,
You know,
Kurt.
the argument, I mean, remember when porno mags were still a thing? Like there was a magazine very popular that was called Barely Legal. You know? I tell you have a joke about kind of, sort of, not a.
Yeah.
But like that has a more of an argument than saying this. You know what I mean? This is like crazy compared to that. That's like, so you got to get 100% kill ratio for it to be one gain.
According to our friend Kinney. Final slide. So Boston University made a new COVID that has an 80% kill rate. I have a few hundred questions. The first and most important being, why the hell would you do this? It's like the people who invented something that makes dog shit taste bad. What do you do? What are you guys doing? You don't have anything else to do? Right? Even in the worst sci-fi horror movies, you at least get to find out why they did this.
Yeah, no.
But we don't even get. They don't need. So but they're going to tell you it's for your own good, Kurt.
They don't just go, I refute those claims.
All right. By the way, so again, I have to encourage everybody, when someone says you need to trust the science or have faith in science, you should laugh at them because they're morons.
Do they have a magazine they make called Barely Legal Research?
Yeah, right?
Like a scientist with some beakers up all suggestively.
When somebody tells you that you have to have faith in science or trust the science, that's them spewing propaganda from Big Pharma. That's not a science thing. Nobody who's in science trusts science or has faith in it. You know what they do? They question science and demand empirical evidence. That's how science works. So when you see a comedian telling you that you should trust science or have faith in science, he's being dumb. He's actually being anti-intellectual to try to own someone who he thinks is dumber than him when they're actually being the biggest dummy in the world.
Yeah, it's not, I'm dumb, I don't read science. And that's how I know you don't know anything.
Yes.
If I don't, a guy, right. I'm a sports guy myself.
I saw somebody say, I trust the zipper, the science that my pants are going to zip up. That's not science.
Is that not as a joke? That'd be a great joke.
That's just called engineering. That's not science.
I trust that my zipper
the science
will go
of engineering.
We had better arguments for faith in Jesus Christ of Nazareth than this when I was in. You trust that your car will turn on in the morning. You have faith.
Hey, we're going to see you in Miami, West Palm Beach, Denver, Palm Springs, Austin, Burbank. That's right. The Saturday after Thanksgiving here in Burbank, and lots of dates in Los Angeles in December. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a link for all our tickets and join our premium program when you go there too.